All right, and we're live. I am currently opening up the project. It's taking a little while. Kind of a heavy project on the computer. Um, okay. Here we go, just posting a link here. Okay, we're live. Jesus. Just getting pummeled by all the windows of my plugins. Looks a little overwhelming. And you're not even seeing half of it. I'm just gonna close these down. I'll just play the song a little bit while we wait for people to trickle in.
The weight of 1,000 leagues, the wrath of the raging seas, a rusted ghost of the man you knew. Vengeance is coming for you. The clang of the anchor's chain, the sound of a certain pain. Accept your fate, and you know it's true. Vengeance is coming for you. From the deep, a hulking titan. Can you feel the chains around you, titan? With a screams, I'll drown, drag.
Welcome, Frenata. Nice to see you here. Glad you're here to keep things in order. Oof. Big project. We're at around 200 channels, which is by no means a record of any kind, but it's very heavy channels. Let me bring up the mixer for a second. There's a lot going on. And so my idea is that we're going to take a look at the project from top to bottom, and the way I organize things, which is usually drums, percussion, sound effects, bass, synths, orchestral instruments, guitars, and vocals. I know that someone else sang it, but can we hear you sing the opening part of Drag You Down, but in Swedish? Pah! You did you come prepared with that question? My God. I thought you were here to help me. Maybe I can find like my vocal in here somewhere. I probably removed it. Let's see. Could it be in here?
Ghost of the man you knew.
Nope. Nah, my vocals are long gone. I did some guide vocals. Oh, you're being so mean. Anyway, let's start looking into the project. Okay, let's take a look at the drums. So here, the red is the drums package, the drums bus group. And we have 3 unused channels for some reason. We can just remove those. Okay, so the drums. Obviously, I have 2 types of drum sounds here. We have like the noisy, piratey, folky drums, and then we have the drum kit, and those are different things. But we'll take a look at both. So if I just solo out the drums. And it starts with this sound, which is the craziest sound, because me and my friend Martin, we were in the studio and we were all alone and thinking, like, what can we find in here in the studio? Because wall to wall, there's a warehouse and it has so much junk and different things in there, and old equipment, old instruments. How could we, like, that's actually where we found the anchor as well. But this sound, this particular sound, is a bellow or bellows from an old pump organ. And like when we just pressed the pump, it, or the bellows, it didn't seem to make like a very impactful sound, but when we mic'd it up and listened to it, it had this magnificent sub bass, just incredible. So I'm gonna turn off the effects first, because there are quite a bit of effects, but let me turn off the effects and just listen to this. So this is what it actually sounded like. So like a very deep bass, and when combined with the effects, so massive. Okay, so we have that sound up until over here, and here we have the kick pillows, which is pillows on a metal plate and with the anchor and the chains and some other shit lying around on the metal plate. So I made this into an instrument, actually, so I can play it on the keyboard, I thought. Hold on. Okay, it's not making any sounds. Well, it sounds like this. And this is also our way of kind of making the most of this. And I did have some effects on this. Oh, I see. I froze the channel. It's frozen. So it has a clipper, some saturation, distortion, and EQ. So that's why I can't play it right now, but we can listen to it. So this is like a weight of some kind dropped on pillows. And then we did a similar thing, but instead of the pillows, we had a drum chair, and we dropped this weight on the drum chair, and it's a more noisy sound, and together it was very cool. So the drum stool kick sounds like this. I've actually cut out the low end from this sound because the pillows kick had more of a low end sound, and then together this was a nice combination. Hey, Music Camp. Nice to see you. Thank you for the donation. So together. So this is like, why did we do this? We did this because we wanted a unique sound, right? Because I could just choose a sampler from a sample pack or an instrument that everyone else uses, but I just really prefer to make the songs as unique and as rich in texture as possible. And it sounds good. Like, it's just junk that we found, but it sounds good. And then, of course, we layered it, or I layered it, with a Superior Drummer clap kit. Just something I made. I think I made a video about this. So together sounds like this. Okay, I'm gonna answer Music Camp's question. Yeah, I do keep the samples, and I have a sample library of things that I'm just sampling. Like, just the other day, there was some construction work outside, and I just brought my little microphone. Second. This thing. And just place it outside the garage and recorded while they were working. And I don't know what it's going to be good for, like, but you never know. The point is to have like your own sounds, like sounds from your reality. Like it just hits different. And I also layered it with Gran Casa sound from Damage 2, I think. Sounds like this. This was the first sound that I used for this song. And it's cool.
For you.
And together. And this really is the time to bring in the percussion too, because I have a round of claps, which is just me clapping in the studio. Not very impressive on its own, but this is about creating like a texture with many elements. I have a couple of shakers that I recorded here in the studio. Oh, this is actually on 0. Okay, so I didn't use that sound apparently. Oh yeah, I know why. Because to get that kind of drive that the maracas gave me, this. Sure. That gives the whole rhythm some drive because it's a very, very slow song. It's 100 BPM. And you need something a little bit more fast paced. So I used these clock instruments. Let's see if I can find them. Clock percussion. This one. I do not have an Amazon affiliate, and I think this one is. I'm just answering Music Camp's question now. This is a DR40X stereo microphone from Tascam. DR40X. I think it's good, but it has a pretty high noise floor, and that makes it not optimal to record very quiet sounds because when you push them up, you get a lot of noise. So I don't love that, but for this price range, it's a solid piece of gear. Okay, let's go back to listening to the entire drum group and the percussion. We have more percussion. We have also the Russell. Russell. I don't really know what it. I don't know the translation actually for English, but it's noise from junk basically. So this is just like I had the chains and I kind of smacked them into the ground. Martin had like a box of screws and nails, and he was shaking that in rhythm, and we were just sitting there listening to the song and making noise. And it sounds like this. Hallå? Denna, kan du prata med mamma? Jag jobbar. Hejdå. Sorry, got a call. Yeah, so all together, the drums and the percussion sounds like this. Pretty massive. I love it. I love what it sounds like. It sounds very authentic. It sounds massive. And it's kind of hard to make out separate sounds, but it surely does the task. Okay, nice to see you here, Music Camp. Or Obsidian, maybe I should say. All right, let's move on because this is actually the chorus during this section.
Titan, can you feel the chains around you, Titan? With a scream
Okay, so in this section we also have there's actually a lot of sound effects in all the different sections. We could go back to the beginning and just listen to the sound effects. Okay, so there's quite a bit to unpack here. I have ocean, water, waves samples from a sample pack that I haven't made myself, but I own it. And these are made to be kind of white noise risers. So this happens throughout the track. It's kind of hard to make out, but it creates a thickness and a texture that is obviously very fitting for this song. And there is some automation shenanigans going on here with EQ. Oh, yes. So I am low passing these deep waves to match the pump organ bellows. So when the pump organ hits, it kind of ducks the high frequency of the waves, which creates more impact and also kind of anticipation for the next hit. So it sounds like this together. And then right here, it's gonna yeah, like that. And here's another little detail that I'm sure you didn't notice, but I have a shepherd tone. So shepherd tone is a tone that either descends or ascends, but it doesn't really get higher or lower. Kind of stays in the same place. It's like a psychoacoustic illusion. Sounds like this. Yeah, so obviously it goes down in pitch, but then there's another layer that comes in and also goes down, but it's pitched higher, and so this descent always keeps going. And this is just a simple setup I did in Vital. Let's take a look at some more effects here. We have the chains with the anchor, of course. That's a very important element in this. So these I have pitched and kind of drawn out because I wanted it to sound like a big chain, but I didn't have a big rusty chain. I had like a new kind of medium small chain with the anchor. You can see it in the behind the scenes short. Um, and so I had to draw it out a little bit and pitch it. Sounds like this. And yeah, there's effects on it too. Without effects, and a little later. Sounds pretty menacing. We have the cymbal screech, and that's just some kind of special technique where you take a drumstick and you kind of grind it on top of the cymbal in a special way, and this creates this screech. Without effects, it sounds like this. Just kind of a nasty, very unnerving sound, and with the effects, it sounds very kind of spooky, horror-ish. It's a good texture. And then we have the creaks. We wanted to kind of simulate the sound of, you know, creaking wood in a ship. So I took some samples from a door, and the door sounds like this. And I also took some samples from the pump organ, because if I pushed the bellows down and then I just kind of grinded them a little bit, they sounded like this. And together. It has a very interesting stereo image, and it creates a nice texture. It's subtle in the context of the mix. So now that we've listened to all this, just listen to the sound effects and the drums and percussion. And there's not a lot of drums and percussion in the beginning, but just listen to it. Yeah. Monsieur Powell. Nice to see you here. And Killiser. Welcome. Okay. Okay, so obviously there are two ways to do this. Either I take this part by part and show you each how I did each part. I think that maybe makes more sense actually. So what's the next thing I should show you? Synth. Oh yeah. I created a sea monster out of Idle. So the idea behind this was that there are low strings. This was the first. this was the first iteration before Anton put his strings in there. And so he added his, which sounds like this together with my VST strings. Right? Cool. But there's also the Veavlira or hurdy-gurdy that plays the same thing. But that wasn't enough. There's also a foghorn. Let's see. So it's actually a sample of a foghorn that I used as an instrument and pitched it and put an echo on it. And finally, the sea monster. The sea monster is a custom patch that I did with Vital. This is just like sound design. I don't know. I just wanted it to. I think the big part is the formant filter. It kind of makes it sound like a voice, and also the flickering makes it sound. I don't know. I'm just playing around with this and trying to find something that sounds good. So that together with the deep strings and Anton strings and his hurdy-gurdy sounds like this. That's a pretty massive sound. And we also have the main melody of kind of the post-chorus or pre-drop that plays the melody. A lot of effects on that. I just wanted it to sound like far off, but still be there. Kind of tell the listener what's going to come later. Okay, and that's the intro.
The weight of 1,000 leagues.
Here we come to the vocals. Obviously very important. I've worked with Samtar's vocals for a bit now, so I have a preset, which is like a starting point, where I just try to keep him very, very close because I just love the texture and tone of his voice. I want it to be very close, but then I automate effects and scents. As you can see in this lane, these lanes rather, I have 4 different automated effect lanes, and it's these distant half note delay, the quarter distant half note delay, triplets, ping pong, and deep response. And I automate these usually at the end of each sentence, so that when he starts singing, it sounds kind of close. I do have effects on, echoes and reverbs, but they're very subtle. And then at the end of each phrase, I just send that vocal away to soar. Just listen to what it sounds like.
The weight of 1,000 leagues, the wrath of the raging seas, a rusted ghost of the man you knew. Vengeance is coming for you. The clang of the anchor's chain, the sound of a certain bane. Accept your fate.
Yeah. If you want to know like anything special about the effects that I'm using, then feel free to ask. But I'm just gonna move on a little bit. Because here in the second part of the verse, we are coming into the auto harp, and it sounds beautiful. It sounds like this. Very, very nice tone. And what else? Oh yeah, this is like the last thing I added in this arrangement, which is the counter melody that these guitars are playing during the chorus. These.
The chains around you tighten, where the screams all drown, drag you down, down, down. Where no light is found, drag you down, down, down.
In this part, I took a note from Drown With Me, actually, with the bass. So we have the usual suspects, but for the
From the
chorus part, I have this bass.
Titan.
And then during the pre-drop, let's say, I added a didgeridoo, which was the main bass on Drown With Me. And as you heard, I also automated the bass away just before the drop. This is kind of a common technique to cut the bass away before the big drop. That creates a bigger impact. I do this with a lot of instruments. You can see it here in this automation lane. I do it with the strings. Just listen to the string section in this part because it's really beautiful. Yeah, so we got into the drop there. Just before we get into that part, there are some interesting things that you should listen for in the pre-drop, the build-up, which actually build down because I'm slowing things down and lowering the tones. The shepherd tone is more pronounced here, and the clock is slowing down and pitched down. I thought that was really interesting effect, which is kind of subtle. I don't know if you noticed it, but it creates this. I just wanted to create this kind of feeling of sinking, like you're just sinking, sinking, sinking into the abyss. And there's the drop. Thank you, Kirigosh. Nice to see you here. So let's just listen to that part in context.
You down, 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 down.
But I want to point out that this melody is not the same as Drown With Me. Just the didgeridoo is the same sound that I used, but it's not the same melody. Okay, so here the band comes in. Let's take a look at the drums. It's Superior 3 patch. Apparently, I call this the Warmageddon kit. So I used this bass in the Warmageddon song, but each song is different. So it sounds like this. There's also I don't know, this probably doesn't make anything for the feel. It's just there because I like that it's there, and it's an anchor slam. Like we slammed the anchor into the metal plate, and that sounds like this. So that's layered on top of the snare. Can you tell? Yeah, man, it's a really cool drop. Like I'm very happy with how that turned out because it just kind of sinks and then everything just breaks into a million pieces. Okay, so the bass, because the setup is more straightforward in this section because the guitars are taking so much place in the mix. But the bass sounds like this. It's a Brahm. Sounds like this. You probably couldn't tell in the context of the mix. But the bass sounds like this. this dulcimer. I'm thinking there might be something wrong with the patching here. Whatever. The bass, it's this bass. Pretty nice Ibanez 5-string bass. Big boy bass. Yeah, it's the bass reveal. And what I almost always do with metal productions is that I use 2 layers of the bass. These 2 are the bass tracks, but they're the same. I've just duplicated it, but this one just has all the bass on the sub. It sounds like this. And the other one, the electric bass top, also sends its signal to the bass cab FX, which is a very aggressive tone, but I just mute that for now. And this is the top, sounds like this. So this is just a string noise, or the string tone. And with the cab FX, that's my bass tone. Oh, really? Didn't occur to me. What else? Yeah, okay, the guitars. So to me, like, guitar tone is the most difficult thing in the whole world. I hate it because I'm not really a guitarist and I just think it's really difficult. So I had 3 layers of guitars. This is the main layer. Very mid-rangey. There's not a lot of bass in it. And then there's another layer that sounds like this. So with the main guitar that I just showed you, I'm only playing 1 string at a time. And in this layer, guitar 1, I play power chords. And together, and then there is another layer that plays the melody. With the bass. As you can see in this compressor, because I sidechain compress a lot, when I do metal, especially. Um, and I want the kick to kind of punch a little harder through the mix. I sidechain compress it, the guitar package through the kick and maybe the snare. Let's see, yeah, both the kick and the snare. So you can see every time the kick and snare hits, it's going to duck here. The volume of the whole guitar package. I always, so Massey, oh, sorry, I probably mispronounced your name. Sorry about that. Massey. He asks, I always had a problem with feeling how the compression should work in a song. Do you have any general tips? Oof. Okay, Massey. General tips for compression? No. Like I don't. Okay, so the best general tip is: does it sound good? Does it sound? I mean, compression could be an effect. Compression could be very transparent. It can reduce. It always reduces or should reduce dynamic range. That's kind of the purpose of a compressor, to reduce the dynamic range. And when you do that, you can create energy by lifting out the quiet parts. Or you can also emphasize the transients to make them pop more. But it totally depends on what you're compressing. If you're compressing a snare drum, I might have one approach. If I'm compressing the overheads, it's a different story. So we could just take, like, I guess I could just show you, I guess. Okay, so we're looking at the snare now. Now, there's a lot happening here because I'm sending it to a parallel group called Snare Slam and a drum stereoizer and the big snare big space parallel group. And the purpose of these parallel groups is to make it bigger and wider. Because I don't really like to layer that much. So this is pretty much just one snare. Actually, no, I'm lying. I think it's three snares. It's these 3 snares in one, but it all comes from one place. So that's the snare sound. If I mute all the sends and inserts, it sounds like this. Bro, that's not even that different. Wait, let's just listen to just a snare. Okay. And with the effects, make sure they're on. Sounds like this. Sounds a little weird in the context. I think something weird is happening when I solo it like this. There we go. That's what it should sound like. So what I do with compression, with snares, I like to, and again, it's really hard to say in general because, oh, man, I'm ranting about this, but I could talk about compression for a long time. Because if you want like a very snappy compression, like a pop, then you want the attack to be kind of fast, maybe 10, 12, or even less in seconds. For this one, I'm using the vintage compressor in Cubase. I have an attack time of 6 milliseconds, but I'm also engaging the punch mode, which kind of emphasizes the transient a little bit. So that's why I could keep it very, very short. I'm also using an 1176 type compressor with an attack of 3. I don't know how many milliseconds that is, but I know that 1 is the slowest on 1176. So pretty slow attack, very fast release. Let's see. I'm just ranting about compression. It's easy to nerd out on. Let's see. I don't know anything about music production. Just want to tell you, Fact Shield has always been synonymous with the golden age of lead content creation. Thank you, Makano. Makamano. Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but I kind of try to move away from lead content creation. But that's a long story. Yeah, okay, so let's stop talking about compression for a while. But please ask more questions if you have any. That's what this stream is for. Anyway, so we are back. We were in the break, the drop, and then we have another verse, and it's pretty much the same thing.
No shelter upon the shore, dragged down to the ocean floor. Your judgment when you lie and betray, and vengeance is coming today. From the deep, I'll be titan. Can you feel the...
So in this section, I just wanted to mix it up. I mean, this is usually what I do with my productions. I don't know if it's a good idea, but I just like to tell this story. You know, you start off with the low intensity and you kind of increase it incrementally as you go. So if you listen to my songs, like the first chorus is rarely as intense as the last chorus, and so on. So in this situation, it's the same. I just don't want to copy paste it. So when I got into the chorus again, I thought, well, why not bring in the band? That's what I did, but in a much simpler, not as super heavy way as the drop later. So the guitars are playing something different. They're playing like this.
The chains around you tighten, where the screams all drown, drag you down, 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 where no light is found, drag you down, 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 down.
And in this section, something interesting happens because we switch the rhythm from straight to shuffle. And this was one of those late ideas that I had. Actually, it wasn't actually my idea. It was Martin's idea. Because he plays a lot with Anton, who did the live strings. we should actually take a moment to appreciate the live strings in this section because it sounds phenomenal. So I'm muting away a lot of the things he played here, and for the sake of curiosity, I'll just put it on again because it sounds really interesting. This is nasty. Okay, so I think that's cool, but it sounded very dissonant to have those screeching notes that isn't really in key either. It's very dissonant, and I kind of couldn't make it work. But I thought it sounded very cool, but I couldn't make it work. There's a melody going on, and there's like bass lines and vocals, and it's too much shit. But yeah, the head got banging real fast in there. Yeah. So, stupid thing. That was a idea that came pretty late, because Anton, he's like a folk musician, so he rarely plays this straight that I asked him to play. And then Martin said, well, why don't you, like, it would be cool if you shifted to like a folk shuffle in here to kind of break things off a little bit. And I thought, yeah, man, that's brilliant. Of course, that's a huge pain in the ass for me because I have to replay all the guitars, the bass, the drums, and manually tweak the positions of and timing of Anton's recorded violins. But I did it, obviously, because that was the best for the song. So it got a really nice groove. And then back to the straight. Just grinding away. It sounds brutal. I love it. I love it. Very happy with this production. Oh, we can listen to Samtar's growls too, because they're not that pronounced, but they sound brutal.
Drag you down. Drag you down, down, down. Drag them down. Drag them down. Drag them down. Drag them down, down, down.
I didn't even pitch them. He's just so guttural.
Drag you down, down, down. Drag you down, down, down. Drag you down, down, down.
time for all you nerds out there. I'll show you the mix bus chain, which is actually longer than usual. So first there's a trimmer just to set the volume at around -12. And it definitely peaks over than that. But that's fine. That just means I'm hitting the processors harder, which sounds cool. Okay, frequency just to bump a little bit of, what is that? 10K. Using the creme, which is, just a second. I'll show you what I got here. This unit. Hold on, maybe I can blow that up for you. There we go. So this is a bus compressor and kind of a Pultec style EQ, but it's not really Pultec style because Pultec style attenuates and boosts. This only boosts. But it's got a passive EQ. It sounds very smooth and nice. Then this unit, the drum bus goes through it. The drummer 9078, and then I'm using this, the Carnaby, for it's a, what's it called? It's a harmonic EQ. It uses kind of saturation instead of phase. So it's a pretty nice unit, and I'm using that for the mix bus as well. Oh, this one, the tweezer, I'm using that for Samtar's lead vocals. And as you can see, I'm using this one for my vocals right now. Okay, putting this back. That was a little sneak peek of the studio. What else do we have on this chain? We have the C4. It's C4 is a multi-band compressor. Then we have the black box HD2, which I'm using in MS. Which means that I'm processing the mid signal and the side signals differently. And that creates a little bit of extra width, and I can do different things to each band or each position. Then I have a clipper. Then I have the mag EQ. And I'm just using it to boost a little 20K, and it looks like 150, somewhere around there. And then I have a limiter. So that's it. That's the project. Obviously, I haven't gone into too much detail because I could really get nerdy on this, but and all the automation lanes and all the shit that's going on, I don't have to get into all that. But I think I showed you like the important bits. Yeah. So if you like to have this kind of after party thing after a release, I would love to do it. It's much easier than doing a video because I have to edit a video and I can't like interact with you. If you have any questions, it's easier to show you live. And if you have any questions now, feel free to use the chat and ask them. I can tell you that my next song is most likely going to be a Little Nightmares 3 song because Little Nightmares 3 is coming out in October. And I love the first two games. So I just know that I'm gonna play it, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love it and be inspired by it. And I mean, it's about childhood trauma, and it's it's an easy topic to cover in music for me somehow. um, yeah. Well, um, it's been swell. Nice of you to stop by. I think I'm gonna take off and call it a weekend. Or what do you say? Call it a take weekend? I don't know. Call it a day. Call it a week. What? I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm Swedish. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna take off. Nice to see you here. Thanks for the comments and the chats and the donation. So I'll be back with another song in October, probably. So in about a month and a half. And until then, I'm working on 4 different game soundtracks right now, and I am super swamped. And for my patrons, you are getting previews and behind the scenes stuff as usual. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you later. Bye bye.